It's not an emergency. This is merely a test. I need you to define the word modal for me. A modal auxiliary. Please define the word modal auxiliary. Similarly, we are not getting the responses that I hoped for.
Could you tell me how to change a passive sentence to an active sentence, please? Could you just tell me the difference between passive and active? This isn't working. I'm very disappointed.
What do you do with a dangling participle? This is merely part of the experiment. What do you do with a dangling participle? No, cut.
Hello, I'm Simile. And I'm Murgatroyd. Welcome to our instructional video that we have decided to film in order to prove the results of our extensive studies and research on the subject of English grammar and the lives of everyday people. So we welcome you today as we take this journey, this fascinating journey through the channels and streams and rivulets of the glorious English language. In our studies, we found that the everyday person was unable to utilize their standard English grammar at a moment's notice. According to our theory, one should be able to use proper grammar and its correct form and function in any situation and at any time, at the drop of a hat, one might say.
Next we will be diagramming a sentence that is a sentence pattern 8. It uses a transitive verb, a direct object, an indirect object, and even a gerund. Even a gerund? Wowee! Alright, well, let's talk about some of these terms, shall we? A direct object is a noun or a noun phrase which follows the verb. In our sentence, we have Miss Peaches gives Jaquan a whoopin'. Now, what does she give him? She gives him a whoopin'. Now, whoopin' in this case is the direct object of the verb gave. Jaquan in this case is the indirect object. Now, an indirect object is what the verb is acting on. So, it's who or what, generally in the form of a noun phrase, who or what the verb is acting on. In this case, Jaquan. So, at the end of the sentence, we have, she gives him a whooping for letting the air out of her tires. That Jaquan, what a silly boy. Oh, well, now what we have here is a gerund phrase. So a gerund phrase is where you have a verb which ends in ing, which is used in a phrase as a noun. Now here we have it acting as the object of a preposition. In order to talk about this more, I think we should diagram the sentence. What do you think, Simile? That sounds swell. Alright, let's go there now.
Miss Peaches gave Jaquan a whooping for flattening her tires. Miss Peaches is the main noun. Gave is the verb.
Whoopin' is the direct object. A is the determiner of whoopin'.
Jaquan, in this case, is the indirect object.
Flattening is the ing word in the gerund phrase. Her is tires is the object of the gerund. Her is the adjectival modifying tires, and for is the preposition.
And there you have a diagrammed sentence.
While this may seem confusing, diagramming sentences can not only help you understand confusing parts of the sentence, but also help you write effective sentences.
Isn't diagramming sentences swell? Oh, I just love it, Simile. It's great, Murgatroyd.
Well, next on our journey, we ran into a dangling participle that was wreaking havoc in a sentence.
Dangling participles are often found in sentences that are used incorrectly. A participle can often enhance a sentence in ways that no other part of speech can. Generally, what they do is they modify the noun in a unique manner. They start with a participle which is generally a verb ending in ing or ed, followed by an object. So, what we had in this situation was a participle that was hanging out where he just shouldn't have been. And that place was as far away from the word he was modifying as possible. A participle in the correct location will be found close to the word that it is going to modify.
That dangling participle, that naughty participle, was in a place just where he had no business to be.
Bloated and barnacle!
A hip surfer!
Notice A, beach whale on the shore.
The hip surfers noticed a bloated and barnacled beached whale on the shore.
Passive sentences. Active sentences.
Yeah, he was awful.
Oh, that was a fault. Too bad he didn't use any underspin. That might help next time. I wish I knew who was using that awesome continental grip. What a smash! Man, I wish we knew who was hitting those balls. What do you think is a good way to describe a situation like this?
I think a good sentence would be, the ball was lobbed over the net, tying the game at deuce.
What you just saw and heard was a passive sentence where the subject was unclear. In this situation, what's happening is it's hard to tell who or what is performing the action in the sentence, and that's what makes it passive. Next, you will see how to make a passive sentence active. Fascinating!
Oh wow, look at this! I think that's Jose playing.
And is that Sally over there?
I think so.
This game is so much more satisfying now that I know who's performing the action.
I think it's Jose and Sally performing the action. Wow!
What kind of a sentence would you use to describe what's happening here, Simile?
Murgatroyd, I think I would say that Jose lobbed the ball over the net, tying the game at deuce.
Next, you will see a clip where there's confusion because of the lack of an antecedent. Antecedents are often used with pronouns, but when one goes missing, all hell breaks loose.
Oh dear. I think we're about to see that in our next clip. Let's watch.
Hi, I'm looking for it. Okay? I just need you to help me find it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, well, I came to the library. I've been searching for it. I need you to help me look for it.
When you say it, what are you referring to?
Particularly the history of mathematics.
Oh, yes, we have the history of mathematics one right here.
Oh, okay.
If only you had identified the antecedent beforehand.
In this segment, we're talking about a little part of speech that I like to call the antecedent. If you see on this notepad here, we have it outlined. Now, the antecedent is what the pronoun is referring to. See, in our sample sentence here, is the history of mathematics what you are referring to, this interrogatory sentence here? What we have is, the antecedent is the history of mathematics, and our pronoun is what. So what is referring to the history of mathematics, our antecedent. Thanks for joining us on our fascinating journey through the glorious streams and rivulets of the fascinating English grammar.